How's it going, everybody? My name is Artorigold, and today I want to go over Blizzcon. So there were a lot of things that I think I missed on panels and in some Jeff Kaplan interviews which were on some streams. So even though my Ashe video that I made a little bit back was a little bit more rushed than I would have liked it to be, I still think there's some really good information in it for you guys to check out, but I will be going into some more detailed things in the future. Until then, I'm going to go over some of the things that I missed out on. So everybody's going to be really excited to play her on the PTR, but I'm pretty sure she won't be hitting ranked anytime soon. It'll probably be another like 2 weeks to a month before she probably hits that. One of the more exciting things that Jeff said in his interviews is that he's actually looking to nerf Doomfist. Maybe not directly in some ways that a lot of people would like to see, but they are looking at ways to balance him because they agree that he is just way too strong right now. In one of the topics, he was really kind of focused on the right click, the 4-second cooldown on the one-shot mechanic, and I definitely agree that a 4-second cooldown on a one-shot mechanic and also a very easy to use mobility move is probably just too crazy. If I were them, I would probably turn that 4-second cooldown to maybe a 6-second cooldown. Not too terrible, but still a little bit more balanced because all of his other abilities have longer cooldowns, but for some reason his punch, which is the one-shot mechanic, has only a 4-second cooldown. So either way, I'm really excited to hear that Jeff is going to nerf Doomfist. We're not sure how, but either way, I'm more than welcome for any Doomfist nerfs that we can get. Another thing that Jeff said in the interview is that he actually is focusing on support and tank heroes specifically because right now there are just too many DPS heroes in the roster, and he really wants support and tank to kind of catch up to that and kind of have a balance and even it all out. He also even said that there are 6 heroes that they already have planned for release. They're probably still working on these heroes, but these are probably going to be the ones that we're looking at for the next year, and they're mostly going to be support and tank. There might be a DPS or 2 in there, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that there's going to be a lot of support and tank heroes coming out soon that are going to be coming out first before we see another DPS. So now I want to go into some things that I learned about Ashe that I didn't discuss in the video because I wasn't aware of it until just now. So Bob has a certain way that he works. So when you first activate the ability, Bob will be summoned kind of directly in front of your character and then kind of goes out in this very straight line and he dashes forward. And this is what's going to happen every time until he runs into something, either a hero, a wall, or anything in his way. Could be the objective. So the way it works is as Bob is dashing forward, he'll go quite a way. I think something like 30 meters is what Jeff said, and when he gets into contact of any enemy heroes, he will then knock them up into the air. So this is something he only does once, and it's going to hit everybody in an AoE around that initial contact zone. So if it hits like a Roadhog, anybody next to the Roadhog will also be knocked up into the air. So a few different things about that. One of the things that could be really cool with this is that it can really create a lot of potential for combos. You can knock people into the air to get hit by diva bombs, or maybe just having them in the air can be a really easy target for hit scan players, including yourself as Ashe, and things like Visor and High Noon. And if there's any enemy teams just like hiding behind a Reinhardt, hitting them in the air, it can make it pretty easy to try and shoot them that way. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do to combo with this. And another thing I want to talk about is the way Bob acts right after that knockup. So he's not going to move. He's going to be completely stationary and just kind of left click and, well, not left click, but I mean he's going to just sit there and shoot his weapons as soon as that knockup is done, and he's not going to really move at all. He's going to pretty much just remain where he is. The interesting thing about his aiming is that it's basically an aimbot. I mean, you could see the kill cam from Bob. Whenever you get killed by him, the aim is literally an aimbot. It'll go just right to heroes. It doesn't care. So there's no hiding from him unless you get out of line of sight. Another thing that I didn't know about Bob that I just learned from Jeff is that he pretty much is a hero, meaning that the mechanics with Bob can be pretty crazy. There's a lot of pros to this, and there's a lot of downsides. So one of the coolest things that I learned is that Bob can actually contest and capture the objective, which is kind of insane. So in an overtime situation, you can just use Bob to try and touch the point to go into overtime so you don't lose it, or you can just try to touch it if you're not able to. I mean, the possibilities with that are kind of crazy. You can basically just put a 1,200 health tank on the point while you go and get a health pack and heal, or try to retreat around some sort of corner or something, and while he's soaking up damage, he's also contesting the point, getting kills, and then you can just go back to the point and kind of swing in there after Bob is done. I mean, there's a lot of great ways to use this, and I'm really happy to hear that, but that's just one positive, and with these positives also come negatives. So since he's a hero unit, sure, you can heal him, and you can nano him, and you can contest the objective, but you can also stun him, and you can hack him, and you can freeze him. So there's a lot of things that you can do to stop Bob in his tracks, and you can make him pretty useless. When I was playing, I noticed there was a Mei player, and all he would do is just left click Bob, and there is nothing you could do. Some of the other interesting things is you can actually use a sleep dart on Bob, and as long as you don't wake him up, the entire duration of that ultimate is just going to go away. So you sleep Bob. In a perfect world, nobody wakes him up, right? And once that happens, he's just gonna sit there motionless, and then he just disappears, and you're not going to have any active time of Bob because the sleep duration just lasts pretty much the whole time of the ult. So that's one of the more unfortunate consequences of it, but I think a lot of people usually will shoot at it because it's kind of a big target. It's like probably the same odds as somebody shooting a sleeping Primal Rage Winston, right? Like, it happens. It's not that uncommon. It's a pretty big hitbox, so it's gonna happen occasionally. So with that, there are some other cool mechanics with it too. One of the cooler things is you can also give a Zarya bubble to Bob, which not only can be pretty good because, you know, he's a pretty large target and the bubble will get bigger, and it's pretty good energy for Zarya, pretty reliable because most people will probably shoot at him, but also it's going to get him out of CC. So if somebody like a Mei was trying to freeze Bob, you can bubble him and it'll save him from that, and same thing from anything else. So Zarya bubble, needless to say, works really well with Bob. Another big thing about Ashe that I really missed out on and never really noticed, because I guess it just never happened to me in game, is that when you throw your dynamite and if you're right up next to it, you make it explode or you just wait out the duration of it, it can kill you. It actually does a lot of damage to yourself, just kind of like how Junkrat used to hurt himself with his bombs. Yeah, your dynamite, it'll kill you. It also applies the damage over time effect on you as well, so that could kind of be something you need to watch out for. And another thing that was mentioned by Jeff Kaplan is that the whole Overwatch team knows that they're really kind of annoying people with how much crowd control that's really in the game, and they're trying to step back a little bit from that, which I think is an amazing thing. I so agree with that. Crowd control has a place on some characters, but as soon as you add all of that in there, it just kind of becomes overwhelming. And Ashe is a perfect example of a character who really doesn't have a whole lot of CC. I mean, Bob kind of has a knock up in the air, but I think that's about it. And I wouldn't really consider the shotgun really CC. It's not like a hard stun. It's more of a tool that Ashe uses to get on the high ground and to escape whenever anybody's trying to engage on her. So I think Ashe is a perfect example of heroes that are going to be coming in the future, the kind of high mechanical skill heroes, characters that are maybe focused more on their weapon than their abilities, like Doomfist, which I think is great, and it really doesn't have a whole lot of CC, and I think that's amazing, and I'm really happy to hear that. It makes the future of Overwatch look really good right now. So overall, I'm really excited to see all of the new heroes that they have lined up for us, and I really hope that they really keep the CC down to a minimum unless it's really kind of core to their kit. Something like Sombra. I mean, if you had a character built purely around hacking and disabling people, then I mean, you gotta make her do that, right? There's nothing else you can do with her. Another thing that was talked about, I know a lot of people kind of want role queue, and they're kind of on the edge about that Jeff really isn't confident that a role queue is what all players want. He's kind of on the fence about it, and there's some good arguments on both sides. I don't think we're going to be seeing any sort of role queue or a hero ban system happen anytime soon in Overwatch. It's definitely something that they're debating about, but there's no hard evidence or statistics showing that the community wants this, or that it even helps people do better in a competitive game than games that they didn't have the role queue. So they're definitely going to be testing that, but that's not going to be something that we're going to see for a long time. However, something that they really do like, and it seems like they are more committed to, is they're probably going to look to improve the looking for group system, because that was pretty big. I think a lot of people enjoy it, but it definitely needs to be tweaked a little bit, because I don't think it's as popular as they intended, but the people that do use it really enjoy it. Another social feature that they were really looking into was a guild system, but not only just for Overwatch, they were trying to do it for Battle.net itself. Overall, I think social things like guilds and clans or whatever are pretty cool. I would like to see them do something more with that, maybe specific to Overwatch, like maybe you could have a guild in Overwatch and you can kind of have tournaments between each other and compete for things. I think that would be really cool, especially for people that are trying to play on teams who are looking to try and scrim a lot. I think the guild feature could work really great on that. It could help, because right now it's kind of a pain and a bit of a process to find scrims against enemy teams around the same SR average as you, and if they make it properly with the guild system, it could really cut back on trying to find people to scrim against, if that's their goal. I mean, maybe they're just trying to look to get people together and make friends, but I can see it'll really make teams who are trying to climb and break into the contender scene, and it'll make their lives a lot easier trying to scrim against other teams, trying to break into the tier 2 or tier 3 scene. I mean, this could be pretty great and have a lot of potential for people trying to do that and be very competitive, because even though the ranked ladder can be competitive, I think the scrim scene is a lot more tryhard, and you can learn a lot more from scrimming with teams as opposed to just playing like solo queue on the ladder. So anyways, those were just a few things that I learned from some of the interviews that I saw with Jeff Kaplan. They were rather entertaining. Jeff Kaplan was both on Emong and Fran's stream if you want to go check out those VODs. It was really interesting just hearing Jeff talk about everything, and watching the panel was really fun. They even revealed 2 legendary skins at the panel, which was really cool. Either way, I'm really excited to see Ashe. I don't know when she's going to hit rank, but it's safe to say that we're going to be seeing Ashe pretty soon, and I'm really excited to get out there and play her on the PTR, so I could really go in depth and have a much more advanced guide on Ashe made, where we can get some of these maybes and ifs into more definite scenarios where we can really just say, yeah, this is good, and no, that's bad, and this is the pros, this is what works, and this is what you shouldn't do, and things like that. Make sure to stay tuned to this channel, because once Ashe releases, I will definitely be working on an advanced guide for Ashe, so please check that out when you can. Either way, that was just a summary of all the little things that happened at Blizzcon, some of the things that Jeff Kaplan said in interviews that I just wanted to make in a video in case people missed out, people that weren't there, people that didn't see the streams, or people that didn't have the virtual ticket. So this could just be some interesting information that I thought was really cool and I wanted to kind of bring to you guys. Anyways, that's really it for this video. There were really just some really cool small things that I think we missed out on when I was making that initial Ashe video. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.